Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some really spicy battles to end out the Kanto Cup, featuring Galarian FARFETCH'D. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Galarian FARFETCH'D is a pure fighting type Pokemon that typically runs the moveset of Fury Cutter, Leaf Blade, and Brave Bird, but this trainer is running Brick Break instead of Leaf Blade for better coverage against the Alolan Sandshrew family. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Galarian FARFETCH'D in action in the Kanto Cup. Great lead in the first match, Sandslash into Shadow Alolan Marowak. Opponent is going to save switch into Shadow Snorlax, farming up, banking the Earthquake, and then going to bring in his own Shadow Alolan Marowak. Even though AWAC is taking super effective damage from the licks, it double resists Snorlax's typical charge moves, meaning that this is a great opportunity to waste Snorlax's energy. AWAC, able to tank the Body Slam and reach the Fire Blast on very low HP. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not, and down goes Snorlax. Opponent brings in their own AWAC to farm down. They do have some energy on their Marowak, but not as much as the Sandslash has. Back in comes the Sandslash, and it's going to start spamming out charge moves. Night Slash gets the shield from the Marowak and able to fire off Night Slash number 2. This will not KO, but would do quite a bit of damage, and the opponent gives up their final shield as well, just for Sandslash to reach a third Night Slash. Sandslash on an absolute rampage at this point. Marowak finally throwing a move, shields up the Bone Club. In the back, it is an Alolan Sandslash, and this is the moment that Galarian FARFETCH'D has been waiting for. Brick Break, a pretty bad move, but it is double super effective here. Charge it up, going for the Brick Break. Brick Break is gonna do big damage onto the Sandslash, nearly taking it out. And at this point, things are looking very good. You can let the FARFETCH'D go. Opponent actually undercharges. A nice play there by the opponent, as they do want to try and get farm on their Marowak. But even farm is not going to be able to save them, because Sandslash should be able to reach the Night Slash here. Sandslash calls the Bone Club, very nicely done, reaches the Night Slash, and this will be game over. Night Slash taking down the Marowak, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Sandslash into Shadow Nido Queen, another great lead. Nido Queen banks a Poison Fang and then is going to save switch into Snorlax. He's staying in, farming up a ton of energy, and then going to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash able to land, and then a very nice catch, able to catch the Body Slam onto the Shadow Alolan Marowak. We have seen this play out before. Take the double resisted charge moves, farm up, and then fire off that Fire Blast. Snorlax firing off another Body Slam. Marowak able to tank it. Overfarm slightly to get the Marowak slightly lower to give the Nido Queen less farm. Goes for the Fire Blast, and down goes Snorlax. Opponent is waiting out their switch timer. Back in comes the Shadow Nido Queen. They're actually going to fire off that banked Poison Fang, not wanting the Marowak to reach a move. That will take down the Marowak. But now, he can very safely bring in the Sandslash here. In comes Sandslash, and in the back, they have Dewgong. Sandslash fires off the Night Slash, and in comes Galarian FARFETCH'D. FARFETCH'D over-farming and gonna fire off the Brick Break on what should be a CMP tie to the Icy Wind. Brick Break gets the shield, and Dewgong is firing back with the Icy Wind. This would do quite a bit of damage, so FARFETCH'D is going to respect it with a shield. FARFETCH'D can pretty safely over-farm here. Farming up, farms up a bit too much, and is going to be hit with the second Icy Wind, and has to burn the final shield. That is not great, as now the FARFETCH'D is double debuffed. FARFETCH'D is going to be firing off the Brick Break. Brick Break able to land. Opponent went for the catch onto Nido Queen, but FARFETCH'D held onto the energy. Going for the Brave Bird. Big damage onto the Nido Queen, and in comes the Sandslash. This should only be a Poison Fang. Sandslash very safely tanks it. Farms down and leaves with a ton of energy to threaten the Dewgong. Going for the Night Slash. Night Slash should be getting the shield from the Dewgong, but the second Night Slash should be getting the KO. Sandslash taking down the Dewgong, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Sandslash into Shadow Hypno. This is a pretty decent lead for Sandslash thanks to the Community Day move of Night Slash. Farming up and going to start spamming out these Night Slashes. Fires off the first, gets a shield from the Hypno, which is pretty surprising they would shield the first, and firing off a second Night Slash as well. Hypno can tank one, but they double shield and they boost, and that is why you do not shield the first ones in case they get the boost. In comes Alolan Muck, taken out by the Earthquake. In comes Machamp, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Sandslash into an opposing Galarian Farfetch'd. Oh my goodness, the battle of Farfetch'd, who will emerge victorious. If they have Leaf Blade, this would be really bad, and they do, nearly taking out the Sandslash. Bank some energy, and going to bring in the Shadow Alolan Marowak. But Alolan Marowak is going to get outpaced, kind of has to shield up here, as it is going to be the Brave Bird. Opponent is going to switch out the Farfetch'd and bring in Seaking. This is probably a triple Legacy Seaking with Icy Wind and Drill Run as the charge moves. But thankfully, due to AWAC's big energy lead, it's going to be able to outpace, reach the double Shadow Bone, and actually get both shields. That is pretty nice. At this point, I feel like you kind of have to save the shield. Lets it go, but it's an Icy Wind bait. Oh my goodness, what a bait call. Brings back in the Sandslash. Unfortunately, overtaps the Night Slash and ends up losing CMP to the Seaking. That is quite unfortunate. Going to be firing off the Night Slash, but this is now 1 times debuffed, so it's not going to be doing a lot of damage. In the back, the opponent has Hypno, and that is a bit of a scary thing to see when you have a Farfetch'd in the back, but the nice thing is that he was able to save that Marowak. So he should be able to bring in the Marowak, go for the Shadow Bone, take out the Hypno, and that should hopefully clear the way for Farfetch'd to close in the end game. Marowak fires off the Shadow Bone, takes down Hypno, spamming that switch button into the Farfetch'd. Opponent brings in the Seaking. Farfetch'd able to reach the Brick Break. This should be taking out the Seaking, and then it's going to be a race, and it could come down to a CMP tie. The battle of Farfetch'd, able to get to the Brick Break, winning the CMP tie, and this will be game over. Brick Break taking out the opposing Duck, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, picking up a tough lead, Sandslash into Lapras, safe switch into the Shadow Alolan Marowak, and the opponent responds with a Shadow Ember Ninetales. This is not a good response to Marowak whatsoever, and he should be able to flip switch here. Able to get a shield with the Shadow Bone, and even if they overheat here, I believe Marowak should be able to hang on. It's just a Weather Ball. Marowak able to tank and firing off Shadow Bone number 2. Do they want to give up that final shield? They do not, and now the opponent has lost switch advantage and shield advantage. So he can very safely let the Marowak go. The Marowak has done its job, and now it is Galarian Farfetch'd time. Waiting out the switch clock, and then in comes the Farfetch'd. In the back, they have Shadow Beedrill, which is going to be met with the Sandslash. Sandslash does have a pretty okay matchup here because Sandslash is able to tank the Drill Run. Drill Run is going to do quite a bit, but Sandslash able to hang on, and now going for the Night Slash bait, hoping to try and get the shield from the opponent, but the Beedrill calls it, and that is not great news. We'll be able to reach one final Night Slash, but will fall short of a third. Sandslash gets the boost, but too late as it gets taken out. Back in comes the Galarian Farfetch'd. Galarian Farfetch'd needs to start shielding. Shields up the X-Scissor. Overfarms quite a bit and is going for the double resisted Brick Break. I believe this should barely be enough to take out that Shadow Beedrill. Back in comes the Lapras. Lapras farming up, but this Galarian Farfetch'd is incredibly spammy with the Fury Cutters. Brick Break, big damage. Farfetch'd able to reach the second one. Brick Break will be taking down the Lapras, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Sandslash into another Nido Queen. Great lead. Opponent is going to save switch into Snorlax. He's going to stay in, farm up a bunch of energy, bank the Earthquake, and then do what he typically does with Snorlax switch-ins. Bring in that Shadow Alolan Marowak. This Snorlax must be pretty frustrated having to go for these double resisted charge moves while he's going to be able to reach the Fire Blast. We've had 2 Fire Blast land on Snorlaxes. Can we have a third? Yes, we do. Opponent is going to bring back in the Nido Queen. Nido Queen, not wanting to get hit with a Shadow Bone, is going to fire off a Poison Fang. Poison Fang, oh, just not able to get to the move. Brings back in the Sandslash. In the back is Lapras. Going to fire off the Night Slash. Night Slash will do some solid chip damage. Actually gets the shield. Opponent was respecting the Earthquake. And now, Farfetch'd is in a pretty nice spot here. Farfetch'd up a shield can put in quite a bit of work because it's just extremely spammy with Fury Cutters, as we've seen. Firing off the Brick Break. Brick Break is going to do some solid damage, and from here, should be able to reach 2 more Brick Breaks before Lapras reaches the next Surf. So going to commit the shield, and just look at the energy generation, able to reach the back-to-back Brick Breaks. At this point, Lapras can't really shield because if the opponent went for the catch. Oh my goodness, opponent tried to catch the back-to-back. He holds onto the energy, Brave Birds the Nido Queen, and will be able to Earthquake the Lapras. What an incredible end game, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Sandslash into Alolan Sandslash. Not a great lead at all. Staying in to start, goes for the Ice Punch catch, but the opponent holds onto their energy and they're going to fire off a Bulldoze. Bulldoze would do massive damage onto the AWAC. AWAC is forced to burn a shield, and then the opponent brings in Pidgeot. Pidgeot may be thinking it has a free farm down, but Pidgeot is not prepared for the Fire Blast. Marowak charging up, taking down the Pidgeot, and just like that, able to win back switch advantage. Opponent is going to bring in Shadow Hypno to confusion down, but Hypno is going to be forced to commit a shield to do so, as Marowak is able to reach a Shadow Bone. Shadow Bone is going to get a shield from Hypno and able to farm down. At this point, you just bring in the Sand Slash and start firing off these Night Slashes. Night Slash is going to be doing some nice damage onto the Hypno, gets the Hypno quite low as they fire off a move. I think you kind of have to save the shield for the Farfetch'd. They go for the Shadow Ball. In comes the Sand Slash, which is met with the Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd farms up and is going for the Brick Break. At this point, Sand Slash has to shield everything, so they are going to be shielding up the Brick Break, and that ends up being CMP. Farfetch'd, not the tankiest Pokemon, going to be committing the shield as well, and it's going to be a race. Sandslash is able to get there. I don't believe Ice Punch is enough to KO, and I believe the Farfetch'd is intentionally letting itself get as low as possible to not give the Hypno any extra farm. Fires off the Brick Break. Brick Break takes down the Sandslash. In comes Hypno, but Sandslash has the Night Slash loaded, and that will be game over, as Night Slash will be taking down the Hypno, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, picking up a fantastic lead, Sandslash into Haunter. Opponent is going to save switch into Snorlax. We've seen this Snorlax save switch quite a few times. He banks a bunch of energy and then brings in that Shadow AWAC to absorb Snorlax's energy. From here, Shadow AWAC is going to comfortably be able to farm up to that Fire Blast, and we have yet to see an opponent shield the Fire Blast. AWAC is going to tank the Body Slam, and he's going for it. Can we see the Fire Blast land one final time? We can! And down goes Snorlax. The opponent chooses to bring in their third. It's Alolan Graveler. Marowak just not able to reach the Shadow Bone. The nice thing is that Sandslash looks incredible to close out this game. But the bad thing is that Farfetch'd honestly doesn't have a ton of play. So I think at this point you just bring in the Farfetch'd and basically just use it as a damage sponge. Opponent went for a Rock Blast, a resisted move. Farfetch'd able to tank it, fires off the Brick Break, and it ends up getting shielded. A little bit of a weird animation there. At this point, you just let this go. They actually shield the Farfetch'd, and I'm not sure that was the right play, as the Graveler has another Rock Blast. Rock Blast will be taking down the Farfetch'd. In comes Sandslash. Sandslash has a massive amount of energy, going to be firing off the Night Slash. Night Slash gets the boost and is able to farm down the Graveler, and this Haunter is in a lot of trouble. Going for the Night Slash, gets the shield, gets another boost, and now this is a quad boosted Night Slash, evaporating the Haunter, and that is a good game. All in all, some very fun battles featuring Galarian Farfetch'd. Galarian Farfetch'd definitely feels like more of a fun pick than a pick for climbing. But to be honest, I was really impressed by KANTO Sandslash in these battles. KANTO Sandslash honestly felt like it stole the show because it's just able to output a lot of damage, and that Mudshot Night Slash combo is incredibly spammy. So that, combined with the Fire Blast from Shadow Alolan Marowak, made this team incredibly fun to watch. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.